Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. I am at Old Trafford after a very disappointing draw against FC Twente. FC Twente fought for this game like their lives depended on it, and as Erik ten Hag and Christian Eriksen both said post-match, Manchester United did not fight hard enough, and that is not enough. But how many times are we going to hear the same story? How many times are we going to say we need to score more goals? How many times are we going to say the other team just looked like they just wanted it that little bit more? This is our home. This is Old Trafford. And the players have to look themselves in the mirror and say, why can't we score goals? Why can we not do enough? But also Erik ten Hag, again with the substitutions, like-for-like changes, not being able to impact the game, not being able to make a difference. It's one win in the last 9 European games for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. That is simply not good enough. The Europa League, I had us down to win this competition. You are not going to win this competition if you can't beat FC Twente at home in your own stomping ground. And no disrespect to FC Twente, because honestly, if it was at their place, they would have beat us. They had that grit about them. They wanted to fight for everything. And Manchester United, you can have all the possession you want. You can knock it around as much as you want. But if it's not working, it's not working. If it doesn't look like we're going to score a goal, it doesn't look like we're going to score a goal. And the fact of the matter is, you had players on that pitch that should have been substituted off, and you had players on that pitch that were subbed off that should have stayed on. Erik ten Hag's substitutions were all wrong again. I think it stems from, I don't think Erik ten Hag knows what his best midfield is, never mind what his best team is. I think that's an issue, and I think that also, that goes to the players as well. If the manager doesn't know who his best team is, which it's clear he doesn't, the players are also going to feel that. And they're going to feel like they don't know where they stand. I mean, I can go through the team tonight. A huge talking point is going to be Bruno Fernandes. The way he took that shot in the last minute of the game, it's not what a captain should be doing. It's really not what a captain should be doing. And I absolutely love Bruno Fernandes. And I think he's been a magnificent player for Manchester United since he signed for the club. But let's call a spade a spade. He has started this season extremely poorly. And when I was looking out, I was quite close today. He looked exhausted. He looked knackered, and he just didn't seem his usual self. Everything just felt like he had the world on his back. That's how he was running around the pitch. He looked knackered. He's constantly talking to everyone, constantly telling everyone. And I feel like that might distract him from his own game. Honestly, when I was watching up close, he's in constant conversation across the whole game, telling other players what to do, telling them what positions to be in. He's the captain. But when you're also trying to focus on your own game and where you should be, and having that head on a swivel and knowing where your next pass is going to be, all your time and energy is getting taken up by speaking to other people. So when it comes to Bruno, it's like a deer in headlights, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why he's losing possession so much. I mean, we know his game, we know it's risky, but there's certain patterns of play where you just can't excuse it. Like, there's touches in his own third where he's just giving it away. There's the last kick of the game where he's shooting when we definitely should be crossing it in. And Erik ten Hag shoving him out to the right-hand side where we know it's not his best position. That substitution just absolutely baffles me. And what baffles me even more is that I think Manchester United didn't look like they were going to score many goals, let's be honest, as much possession that we had. But our most dangerous player by far looked like Marcus Rashford. And he looked good when he was linking up with Xerxes. I feel like Marcus Rashford and Joshua Xerxes, their link-up play, that was getting us into their box. That was helping cut through their defence. That was helping through cut through the shape that they had put in front of us to try and block us out. And Joshua Xerxes and Marcus Rashford were kind of breaking that down a little bit. And what does he do? He takes Joshua Xerxes off, he takes Marcus Rashford off. Why can't we play Joshua Xerxes alongside Rasmus Højlund? Why can't Mason Mount come on in place of Bruno Fernandes? Bruno Fernandes, categorically, was one of the worst players on the pitch today. One of United's best signings, I think the best signing post-Fergie, but he was the worst player on the pitch today. He was the worst player on the pitch against Crystal Palace. You know, how much credit do you have in the bank before you have to look at the game and make the correct substitutions? What should have happened, this is what I would have done. I'm not saying it should have happened because obviously I'm not claiming to know better than the manager, but from my point of view, Xerxes should have dropped back into the 10, or Mason Mount should have come on in the 10, and you should have brought Rasmus Højlund on, yeah, 100%, but you should have left Marcus Rashford on that pitch. He didn't play. from the start against Crystal Palace. He looked the most dangerous player tonight. He was taking on players. That skill move he did for that cutback back to Lisandro Martinez on the edge of the box was fantastic. I didn't understand. And Erik ten Hag's substitutions, once again, they were just like for like substitutions. There wasn't any tactical changes, and it cost us. Christian Eriksen has started the last 4 games on the bounce for Erik ten Hag, and he's been fantastic. But you could see it was getting to him in that second half. He should have been subbed off probably 20 minutes before he was. And I think Eriksen's been fantastic. That goal, fantastic. But you could see his legs were tiring and he was getting fatigued, hence the goal that he ended up giving away. And could Onana have done better on that after a few good games? Probably yes. But Christian Eriksen spoke post-match and he said, we need to score more goals to take the pressure off our defence. You know, you can't be expected to keep a clean sheet every single game. Okay, you are expected to keep a clean sheet against FC Twente, but mistakes happen, things happen. Christian Eriksen scores a beautiful goal. Okay, yeah, it's his mistake for the goal that we let in. But we should be scoring more than 1 goal against FC Twente at home. We absolutely should, and we should definitely, without a doubt, be creating more clear-cut chances. The fact of the matter is it the players or is it the manager? Do the players need to be looking at themselves and saying, I should be able to do better against this opposition? Or should Erik ten Hag be looking at himself and thinking, why can't we score goals? What are we doing wrong in the final third? Where can I create more gaps? Where can I create more clear-cut chances? Because tonight, it wasn't as if we actually... Crystal Palace should have won that game, absolutely created loads of chances, was a really good performance overall, even though we didn't win it. But tonight, it looked tired. We had a lot of possession, but there was nothing really opening up for us. There wasn't anything clear-cut. We looked lethargic, it looked scrappy, and honestly, you would not be able to tell watching that game who was Manchester United and who was FC Twente. You just wouldn't. And Erik ten Hag's quote, it's not nice to hurt something you love, that's aged so poorly. And I think Erik ten Hag now, you've got Spurs at home, you've got Porto away, and we've got Aston Villa away. We know what Erik ten Hag's record like is on the road for Manchester United. This 3-game run is going to be absolutely pivotal, because you look at the start of Manchester United season, people say our players progressed, but the points aren't there, the results aren't there. That performance today, like I said, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Someone said, Beth, what's the step forward? I said, well, the fact we've actually looked better at the start of this season in a few Premier League games, Southampton, Crystal Palace, even Brighton, we look better. We look like a better team. We're conceding less chances and we are creating more chances. But today, the step backwards was we didn't look like creating anything. Looked like you could play here all night and we wouldn't score a goal unless it was a moment like Christian Eriksen's was a moment. That is a big problem. We should be ripping these teams apart. Whilst Liverpool are going beating West Ham, 5-1? Manchester United are struggling to get more than 1 goal here and there. This is an issue. Yeah, we won 7-0 to Barnsley, the League One. When are Manchester United going to start putting goals away? I've already heard people criticising Joshua Zirkzee. Okay, yeah, his numbers need to improve, but he's a good football player. You know, I believe that there is talented players in that squad. Do I think our forward players need to be more clinical? Absolutely, 100 million %. But there is talented players in that team and we need to be getting more out of them. 100% need to be getting more out of them. What positives can I think of? Mazraoui is just a baller. Like, he is raised the technical level so much. Diogo Dalot coming into midfield is an excellent midfielder. Excellent. His physicality, the way he strides through the midfield, absolutely class. Marcus Rashford was looking like he was getting back to his old self. That's a positive. Christian Eriksen again for the first 60 minutes looked really good. Then he looked tired. Erik ten Hag late with his substitutions. I think his in-game management this season, it's been poor. It really has been poor. Brighton stands out to me as poor in-game management. Crystal Palace is a massive one for poor in-game management. And again today. And how many times is this going to happen? How many chances is Erik ten Hag going to get? Like I said, the start of the season, I did think I'd seen progression, but 1 win in 9 European games for Manchester United, it's just not good enough. If he keeps persisting with playing Bruno Fernandes through this poor form, you are not playing your best team, and therefore you are not likely to get the best result. Play players in their positions and play your best team. Figure out what your best team is. That is the question for Erik ten Hag. What is your best team? And stick with it if you find your best team. As substitutions, don't be afraid to make the big calls. Bruno Fernandes, yes, he's your captain. I get that. He's talking the whole way through the game, but he's not playing well. He couldn't take anybody on the right-hand side. It killed us off. I don't understand. I'd love to speak to Erik ten Hag and just say, what goes for you? What is your purpose in putting Bruno Fernandes out to the right wing and not substituting him off? Because you didn't think he was good enough in the midfield because you moved him out to the right. Why? Why have you put him out on the right? And I'd love to know. He said maybe it's because he's his captain. Say maybe because you feel like he's got that moment in him. But how many times it's going to happen now? And I'm not scapegoating Bruno, because it's definitely not just Bruno Fernandes. We're not, as a team, looking like scoring enough goals. Ugarte looked rusty, kind of came into it in the second half. I do think there was a really good player in there, and I think he will get up to speed, but there's just that little bit of rust in him. And overall, just nowhere near the levels that is expected of Manchester United. And how many times can this happen? Like I said, Spurs at home, Porto away, and Aston Villa away before that October international break is going to be huge games for Erik ten Hag, and there's going to be a lot of pressure mounting if he can't get results in them games. A lot of pressure. Porto away has now become a must-win. We said in the Europa League you've got to win all your home games. Already we stumbled at the first hurdle. It's a draw, but it feels like a massive loss. And Erik ten Hag, I feel like he's on thin ice right now. Whether he should be, let me know in the comments down below. But we need to see more. We need to see more. We need to see more exciting football. We need to see goals being scored, and we need to be beating these types of oppositions. There's no excuses. Look, everyone, I'm frustrated, and as I'm sure you all are, but get in the comments down below what you think. Make sure you go and check out our interview with Christian Eriksen, speaking about how important he feels to the team now, how he's ready to fight for the team, how he feels good in the midfield, and which position he prefers playing, and what he's going to bring to the team this season. He spoke really, really well, to be honest with you. It was only short, but make sure you go and check that out. Also, when the camera was off, he was humble. He took responsibility for his mistake, but I don't blame Christian Eriksen for that mistake, because we should be scoring more goals, and the reason we were 1-0 up was because of him, and he's been our best player in the last 4 games. But look, the team needs to improve. Erik ten Hag's in-game management needs to improve. We need to be putting teams to the sword. But do you know what worries me the most? And Ryan's telling me to wrap up behind the scenes, but what worries me the most is who have we played so far this season? We've played Fulham, we've played Brighton, we've played Liverpool, we've played Southampton, Barnsley, Crystal Palace, and now FC Twente. The only team in that where you say they probably, you'd understand why they're beating you, is Liverpool. Every single other team, it should be a win. And how many points have we dropped? It's not okay. I understand we're still in a rebuild, and I understand we've signed players for the future, but it's not okay. And Erik ten Hag needs to figure out his best team, needs to figure it out quickly, and needs to figure out how can he affect these games with the strong bench he's now got. You can't say it's a weak bench. You can't say it's a bench full of kids. You can't say it's a bench full of deadwood. His bench is strong now. He needs to work out how to use it to affect games. Look, everyone, thank you for watching. Hit a like on the video. Get your comments in down below. I'm sure there'll be a lot of frustration. I can't wait to stick on the fan forum on my way home. And hopefully, away in Porto next week, we can bring you a positive result. But look, everyone, onwards and upwards. We'll see you for Spurs on Sunday.